Hi folks, me again. Not a lot today, more of the same. I do want to comment on a few things from last week's meeting. I think last week's meeting, at least to me, proved to some extent that the board does not care what the residents are saying. And I say that, my reasoning for that is because after 3 weeks of listening meetings and 9 hours of speaking with 80 people speaking up against this, there wasn't even a board discussion about it. There was comments, but no discussion from the board about the things that you heard, and we just moved on to other business. 9 hours of speaking, and you folks gave us 18 minutes of telling us what we told you. We heard things like, it's just a draft. We've heard that 100 times. We all know it's just a draft. We all love rural Caroline. We listened. We're listening intently. We're really listening. I promise we're listening. There's a barrier for affordable housing, is things that you reiterated back to us. Homogenized suburban housing. We don't have the final version yet. Kate's concerned that we're yelling at her and calling names and that we don't want to undermine the work the volunteers are doing. Doesn't like division in the community, and we shouldn't be so scared. Cal's worried about the cost, the enforcement, the implementation. Overly prescriptive, Cal used as a term for this zoning proposal. Too much too fast, and concerned of where it will go. A few pages can turn into many. Catherine, not much to add, but has lots to say, and went on to say she looks forward to when she can share her thoughts. Why are we not sharing those thoughts now? We've spent a lot of money on this. Why can't you have a discussion about the points you heard instead of just telling us back the points that we heard? Have a discussion about what you heard before you forget all the things. And if now is the time to stop this before we spend more of taxpayers' money, stop it now. If it's right to move on, then it didn't hurt you to take a meeting and have the discussion. One more meeting. 200 years, one meeting isn't going to hurt you to have a discussion in front of people and tell each other and all of us what you think. We got here because of a survey that had questions in it that were designed to create a prescribed outcome. There's nothing in that survey that says, would you like zoning in this town to control these things? The questions are, do you like the rural character of Caroline? Do you think we should maintain it? And stuff like that, of course. But you don't ask if we prefer to have freedom of choice on our land in that survey. You don't ask if you think zoning would be right for the community. But yeah, that survey goes on to help create the comprehensive plan. And we've talked about this before. Again, I keep saying the same things. The draft of the comprehensive plan after 6 years had a paragraph in it that said, we can control these things through land use regulations, but differently than zoning, which would control everything. But yet the final version comes out and that paragraph is gone. Poof, gone. Someone had an agenda. Mark says that we need to do this now before something happens to protect us all. This was a quote from last week, give or take a couple words. I still say to stop what? What do you want to stop in Caroline? What are you seeing out there? Has anyone actually made the drive out to Speedsville and back Level Green and down 79? 79's commercial. The rest of the place isn't getting touched. What are you trying to stop? It's the zoning draft, or any zoning, is not going to stop suburban sprawl with houses and fields. There's nothing in it that stops that. So tell us what you want to stop, or make a law to stop that thing. It's not the only tool. The Environmental Protection Agency protects us there. And finally, and I'll say it again, I've said it for 2 months now, we shouldn't be doing this if the entire board is not here in person to see the emotion and see people's faces. I am totally fine with any person protecting themselves and their family. And if that's the case, which I assume it is, with Tim, then it's not shame on Tim, it's shame on the rest of the board for pushing through something like this at a time when y'all can't be here. But yet, same as last week, you still didn't have the conversation. You just moved on without talking about that. Have a discussion in front of these people and tell us why you think it's okay for that to happen. And just don't ignore the question. For 2 months now, I've said the same thing. Have the discussion in one of your meetings and say, hey, are they right? Should we be doing this if we can't have people here? Is this too important for the town of Caroline to do when we can't have people sitting here face to face? That's all I got. Thank you.